Philadelphia Eagles.
He is hit.
Advertising with the Eagles can help your business connect with the consumers you are trying to reach. 97.3 ESPN is the most listened to sports source in all of South Jersey. That's what makes 97.3 ESPN such a powerful station for your business's message. So this Eagles season, don't have your business sitting on the sidelines. Be a part of the Philadelphia Eagles season on 97.3 ESPN. To be a part of the Eagles season, call Market President Mike Rubel at 609-910-5249.
Sports is what we do.
You're in your car, you're in your house, you're wherever you are. You're a sports fan.
97.3 ESPN.
Because if you weren't a sports fan, you wouldn't be listening.
WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A town square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
The opening of the NFL season is officially tonight. Josh Hennig hanging out with you here on Game Night 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Yes, there's NFL game tonight. And you can hear it right here on 97.3 ESPN. Now, Travis Kelce, we'll get to the news with him in just a bit because there's conflicting reports about the status for him tonight. So I'll get to that in a few minutes. But 7:30, coverage begins here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Yes, you can stream NFL games now on the app. And, you know, before we get to the stats of Travis Kelce, I want to let you guys know also this hour we will get into the state of the Eagles heading into their game on Sunday, plus some thoughts on the Phillies getting 2 out of 3 against the Padres yesterday with their win late in the afternoon Eastern time when they were out in San Diego. They're back for a series this weekend in Miami at home in Philadelphia. As always, you can join the conversation. Like Steve from Cape May Courthouse has already texted in earlier at 609-403-0973. I'll get to Steve's text in just a bit. You also get DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. All right. So I want to first touch on this Travis Kelce news. So for those who haven't been tracking this week, back on Tuesday, Travis Kelce reportedly had what they were calling a hyperextended knee. Now, it was revealed yesterday that it was a bone bruise. Now, the theory is that he was listed on yesterday's injury report as questionable for tonight's game. Well, the NFL Network is reporting that Travis Kelce will not play tonight versus the Lions. He has pushed very hard to play, according to James Palmer of NFL Network. This will be the first game he misses due to injury since his rookie year of 2013. Now, what's interesting is that even though the NFL Network is reporting that, ESPN is not reporting that. Even though ESPN is reporting that the Chiefs have activated a tight end off of their practice squad for tonight's game, Matt Bushman. So we do know that they are bringing up a tight end to play this game tonight. But it seems to be that I can't even believe I'm saying this out loud. It seems to be that there's a little bit of maybe a small, tiny chance that Kelce plays tonight. So the good news is the game's kicking off after 8 o'clock. So if you're someone who has Travis Kelce in your fantasy football team, or you're someone who wants to place a wager on tonight's game, you might want to keep an eye on that. All right. So that's what's going on there for tonight's game. And I'll get you some thoughts and picks for the game a little bit later in the hour. All right. But let's get it back to the Eagles for a bit, because before we dig deeper into the Lions versus Chiefs game, we have a situation where with the Eagles, one of the things we talked about on yesterday's game night here on 97.3 ESPN was about the fact that, I still can't get around the idea that you're playing the Patriots in week 1. And I just don't see a scenario unless something unforeseen happens where the Eagles blow out the Patriots. And I think that one of the reasons why I say that we'll get into today is there is 2 specific matchups in this game tonight that I don't think are being talked about enough. The one matchup for tonight's game that I'm personally looking at, for Sunday's game I'm looking at, is Bill O'Brien versus Sean Desai. Now, I know that's not the sexiest matchup in the world in terms of some of the, the hot take people on television, but hear me out for a second. Bill O'Brien is in his first year with Mac Jones as the offensive coordinator with the Patriots. Now, why is that important? It's important because last year you had Matt Patricia in Mac Jones's ear, and there are multiple reports out there that there was an incredible amount of animosity between Patricia and Mac Jones. And one of the reasons why Patricia is no longer in New England is because the grand experiment they tried. Bill Belichick had an Andy Reid moment, okay? If you remember over a decade ago when Andy Reid took the offensive line coach, Juan Castillo, and tried to convert him in the defensive coordinator, and how that completely was the beginning of the end of the Andy Reid era in Philadelphia. Well, Belichick survived his own Juan Castillo experiment. He tried to take a defensive coach in Matt Patricia, along with a couple other coaches, like Joe Judge, for example, the former Giants coach. He tried to make them co-offensive coordinators and basically try to get them to run the offense. And as we saw last year, it was an absolute and utter failure of epic proportions. Now, the last time Bill O'Brien was in New England, it was a top 5 offense, but they also had Tom Brady. So how much do we really take from that? I'm not 100% sure. But what I do know is Mac Jones and Bill O'Brien do have an unspoken connection. And that unspoken connection is they both were at Alabama and they both spent time with Nick Saban. So there's a little bit of a connection between these two guys where they both have an understanding what each other wants and expects and looks forward to. And I think that is one of the biggest takeaways I personally have, is that you're putting two guys together that have shown that they can have success. Maybe not literally with each other, but when Mac Jones had a legitimate offensive coordinator, he did have 22 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. It's not like his rookie year he was a bust or he was meh or he was just okay. No, he got the Patriots to the playoffs, and it looked like the Patriots made a smart decision in drafting him. It only went sideways last year. And as I've told you guys multiple times here on 97.3 ESPN, Josh Hennig hanging out with you on a Thursday night. Unless your name is Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, unless you're on that elite tier, every quarterback in football is dependent on the people around him. He's dependent on the coaches. He's dependent on the offensive line. He's dependent on the receivers. He's dependent on everyone in the organization to do their job. And while Bill O'Brien himself did not personally coach Mac Jones during his time at Alabama, Bill O'Brien can walk into this Patriots situation and say, all right, I know what Belichick wants. I know what Mac Jones had success with when he was at Alabama. I can take both of those elements, understanding, okay, this is why Mac Jones had a great final year at Alabama. This is why Mac Jones and Alabama won the national championship. And also say, I know what Belichick wants. I know what Belichick expects. I know Belichick better than anyone. So he can take those two elements and put Mac Jones in a position to be successful. On the flip side of there being this level of familiarity with New England Patriots, there is a level of unknown when it comes to the Eagles and Sean Desai. You are starting not one, not two, not three, but 4 different starters on the defensive side of the ball this year. And while guys like Nakobe Dean are familiar with the basics of the defensive scheme, and while you have veterans like Terrell Edmonds and Justin Evans coming in at the safety position, and even though Jalen Carter is probably going to be the defensive rookie of the year in the NFL this year, none of that negates the reality that Sean Desai is a brand new defensive coordinator in Philadelphia. He's having to incorporate his ideas, his version of this defense for the Eagles. It's the same structure, but it's going to be asked to be executed differently. So what you're doing is you have a guy in Sean Desai who's having to explain to Nakobe Dean, to Zach Cunningham, to Jalen Carter, to Justin Evans, to Terrell Edmonds, this is what I want to do with this defense. And now you're having to explain to veteran players like Fletcher Cox, like Brandon Graham, like Josh Sweat, like Hassan Reddick, like James Bradbury, like Darius Slay. I know that this is the way we ran the defense last year, but now we're going to run the defense the way I want to run it this year. And even though schematically it is the same, and technically it is probably an upgrade over what they ran the previous year, the truth is that when I look at the lack of familiarity and the lack of continuity on the Eagles side of the ball, and then I flip it over to the reality that there is continuity, there is familiarity on the Patriots side of the ball, this could be a very, very close game, because I don't know if the Patriots are going to score a ton of points on Sunday, but I do anticipate they are going to be able to score a couple touchdowns in this game. Now, look, the Eagles could still win the game 24-17, and, we're all going to walk away being like, wow, good game. Eagles found a way to win. But remember, even the Colts game last year, where the miserable Colts, you had to play them, they still came out there and gave you a very, very difficult game. They still went out there and really took it to you early on in the game. So when you look at this Eagles-Patriots game, that is one of the matchups I'm talking about, why I think this game could be a little closer than we expect. And then the other matchup is the more obvious one. It's Bill Belichick against a quarterback who has never played against him before. And while I understand that Bill Belichick is not the same Belichick that he used to be, okay, he doesn't have the elite super defense that we're all familiar with from years past. This defense was still 11th in the NFL last year in points allowed per game. So despite the fact they went 8-9 last year, their defense was still doing their job, as Belichick would say. Their defense was top 10 in the NFL in total yards allowed, in interceptions made, and they were number 1 in the NFL in fewest rushing touchdowns allowed. That all tells me that Bill Belichick could cause some problems for the Eagles offense with new first-year offensive coordinator Brian Johnson. Even though it's the same system, the same offense, it's his first time calling a defense against Bill Belichick. And remember, I know it's not apples to apples comparison, but when Brian Johnson was at Florida with Dan Mullins, when he was the offensive coordinator down there, it's not like year in and year out, Florida had great success against a coach like Nick Saban. Again, Saban and Belichick, they're not from the same exact coaching tree, but they have similar philosophies. When Florida had to play Alabama, Alabama put up points on them. Now, Alabama had trouble stopping them, but it was a shootout back in 2020. And you go back into years past when it was Florida versus Alabama, Brian Johnson, as a play caller, was able to put up points against Nick Saban, but those games were shootouts. And the games that Brian Johnson and Florida struggled, they typically lost. Again, different system, different setup. I totally get that. But again, first time for Jalen Hurts against Belichick. First time for Brian Johnson against a Belichick scheme. And you've given Bill Belichick an entire offseason and an entire summer to prepare for you. It's a big deal. So that's a deeper dive into why I am looking at the Eagles game this Sunday with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick on the call here in your home for Eagles football in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock. That is why this Sunday I am going to be watching very closely the coaching matchups specifically. All right, we'll check out on the text board. Coming up next, 609-403-0973. Along with your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Steve at K-Make Courthouse. We'll check in with him and others coming up here on the Power Hour, known as Game Night, with me, Josh Hennig, on 97.3 ESPN.
Kevin Harlan here from Westwood One. Join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, ready to kick off the new NFL season. It's Patrick Mahomes and the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs, hosting Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. Join us, along with Rich Eisen from the studio, as we get the new season underway. Coming up on NFL Kickoff.
Listen to Thursday Night Football on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 7:30.
WellCare of New Jersey is now Fidelis Care. We're the health plan you know with a new name and look. Call 1-888-453-2534, TTY 711, or visit fideliscarenj.com.
At Staples, you can count on every project being print perfect, guaranteed.
I need presentations and business reports printed, and they have to be perfect.
I need beautifully bound booklets for my business.
Your presentations and booklets will be in captivating color, beautifully bound, and will be done right every time. That's our Print Big promise. And right now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing on orders of $40 or more. Try Staples and see the difference. Ends 9/30. Exclusions and restrictions apply. See associate or visit staples.com/print for details.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Booking Games in Ocean Casino Resort this football season. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the Gallery. Go to Ocean. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Okay, next time you're at the store, I dare you to not think about the unmistakable fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring. Yeah, you heard me. I want you to resist picturing a shower filled with those sensational Irish Spring suds. And if you succeed, well, you got what my gramps used to call resolutitude. Not a real word, but let's be honest, you're probably going to end up leaving with Irish Spring because of its irresistible scent and because you have zero resolutitude. Pick up Irish Spring today.
Hey, this is Josh from 97.3 ESPN. If your air conditioning isn't keeping you cool, or if you're worried about sky-high electric bills, I recommend you call Jenkins Plumbing and Heating today about a new system from American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning or a Mitsubishi ductless system. Take advantage of financing of up to $15,000 from South Jersey Gas or Atlantic City Electric. New AC system can save you 25 to 35% on your AC bill. Call Jenkins at 609-641-6440, online at jenkinsandsons.com.
Former CIA officer and survival expert Jason Hansen here. I teach people how to prepare for the unexpected. Right now, most Americans are not ready for the death of the US dollar. You have money sitting in cash, and if you don't act soon, your financial future could be at risk. I have partnered with Advantage Gold, the #1 rated precious metals company in America, to release my new digital dollar survival kit that's 100% free for everyone who calls today and claims your free survival kit. Simply call 800-900-8000 and give your email address, and I will have this new digital dollar survival kit sent to you immediately. Call 1-800-900-8000 now and claim your free kit, and also mention my name, Jason Hansen, and see how you could also qualify for $1,000 in free silver. Supplies are limited, so call right now before it's too late. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Check with your financial advisor before investing.
Call 800-900-8000.
21 days of beauty. 21 days with daily beauty steals of up to 50% off. 21 days of Slay. 21 days of Yay. 21 days of Are You Kidding Me right now? Beauty's biggest event is on now till September 16th at Ulta Beauty. Discover irresistible deals on must-have brands like IT Cosmetics and Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. Plus, new launches from Pat McGrath Labs. Shop in store, online, or pick up today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful. Conditions apply.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every touchdown, every game, every point, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. See for yourself when you sign up today, and you'll get $365 in bonus bets when you bet just $1. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be present in New Jersey. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal. Get a $50 gift card, good for Yori's Waterfront Restaurant in Wildwood, New Jersey for just $25. That's right, grab a $50 gift card for just $25. Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at seizethedeal.com. Information on this great deal, go to seizethedeal.com. That's seizethedeal.com.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Game Night here on 97.3 ESPN, being brought to you by Jenkins Sons Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Is your home ready for the next season? Are you worried about rooms that aren't staying cool or won't keep you warm this winter? Well, call Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning today about a new system from American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning or a Mitsubishi ductless system. Take advantage of financing of up to $15,000 from South Jersey Gas or Atlantic City Electric. Save more with rebates from these local utility companies. A new system can save you on your utility bill. So just call Jenkins at 609-641-6440 and visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com. All right, let's check in with on the text board 609-403-0973 in your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Steve down in K-May Courthouse chimed in a little bit earlier. And he did it before the show. And I did want to give Steve the time of day because he took some time to text me by name, address my point. Because when I was filling it for Mike Gill last week on the Sports Bash, Steve from K-May Courthouse came pretty hot and heavy at me. So he actually wanted to jump in and text in and say, hey, Josh, first of all, I want to apologize about shaming you about making sacrilegious comments about Jason Kelce's health. I forgot to put LOLs on that text, but I was glad to hear over the last couple of days the different experts have been coming on the shows talking about how Juergens is going to slide over from right guard to center if need be. But I'm sorry about coming at you so hard. So first of all, Steve, it's nice of you to say that. And again, I was not saying that I want Kelce to be injured. He's going to get injured. But it's just the idea that historically, the Eagles don't like to move the guy who plays guard or any other position to play another position in game. So unless they feel that Cam Juergens in the right guard position is different and they can get away with that, or maybe in the past they couldn't get away with it, that was more my point. But I do appreciate Steve going out of his way to chime in. Now, he had another football point. It says, anywho, Steve from K-May Courthouse messaged in. He says, it looks like the Patriots are going to try to go with a 12 personnel offense, double tight end combination of less than average journeyman Hunter Henry or Mike Gesicki. It ain't going to cut it. Come on. These dudes are not Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski, etc. And they have Mac Jones at quarterback. He's not the GOAT. Do you think that this is going to be Bill Belichick's last year on the sidelines as head coach in New England? I believe so. But I also believe that he will still be with the organization some type of capacity as GM, personnel role. Let me know your thoughts and observations. Steve in K-May Courthouse, go Birds. Well, go Birds, Steve. Couple things there. First of all, yes, they're not the elite tight ends the Patriots have had in the past. But I think when you're saying that, you're very, very belittling the talent of those two guys you just mentioned. When Mike Gesicki was used properly, you're talking about a guy who, before Mike McDaniels got to Miami, Gesicki had a 3-year run where he played at least 15 games in all 3 of those seasons, 2019, 2020, 2021. He averaged 4 touchdowns a year. He had 13 touchdowns over those 3 seasons. He averaged 684 receiving yards a season. And don't forget, this is a guy who was targeted 95 times on average a year. You go year by year on the targets, he was getting 89, 85, 112 targets in his mid-20s in Miami. Last year, he was not a major part of the Dolphins' offense. And by the way, he still caught 5 touchdowns for Miami last year. So I think, Steve, that you are calling him an average journeyman is I think it's very egregious. I think Gesicki, people don't realize he's a phenomenal athlete. You know, I know Gene Allen from Atlantic City has told Mike Gill multiple times, Mike Gill from the Sports Bash show on 97.3 ESPN, about how, Mike Gesicki was like the most frustrating player he ever had to face. Well, one of the most frustrating, I should say, he's ever had to see in basketball because he was such a freak athlete at Southern Regional. So Gesicki is not just some average NFL tight end journeyman. He's a great athlete. He was a very productive player with the Dolphins. Again, aside from the 13 touchdowns he had over a 3-year period, last year, which was a down year for him, he still had 5 passing touchdown catches. That's a total of 18 receiving touchdowns in his last 4 years with the Dolphins. So I don't think he's an average journeyman at all. And then Hunter Henry's a bit of an anomaly, okay? Because this dude was like supposed to be the heir apparent to Antonio Gates with the Chargers. He had that rookie year with 8 passing touchdown catches, and then he had some injuries. He wasn't 100%, but not last year, 2022, but his first year in New England, he had 9 touchdown catches. It doesn't sound like a journeyman tight end to me. That sounds like a guy who actually has talent and ability. I think the problem is, Steve KB Courthouse, we are looking at last year's Patriots and acting like that is who they are. And it's not. They had horrible coaching last year. Belichick completely dropped the ball last year. And that's why they basically fired almost the entire offensive coaching staff after last year. And I think you're belittling Mac Jones. As I said earlier, Mac Jones is a guy who was very good his first year, was basically below average last year. So I think that you are looking at the offense through the eyes of last year's team and not through the eyes of who these players are. Now, your point about Belichick is interesting, Stephen K. Courthouse, because could this be Belichick's last year? Belichick is a bit of a riddle, so I will never put it past Bill Belichick to keep coaching. But I'm going to look at it like this. I think Belichick as a coach, I think he's still coaching for 2 reasons. One, because I think he wants to pass Don Shula on the all-time coaching list. I think that all-time coaching record, first of all, he's 2 wins from 300. I think that all-time coaching record is something that a lot of people love to talk about. Belichick right now, he is 20 behind George Halas, and he's 30 behind Don Shula. So I think as long as Belichick can win 9 to 10 games each of the next few years, and winning 9 games on a 17-game schedule logically shouldn't be the hardest thing to do in the world, as long as you have a solid to good football team. If Belichick averages 9 wins for 3 years, that's 27 wins. And as I said, if he's only 30 behind Shula and he's 20 behind Halas, I think that's what he's hanging around for. I think he's going to hang around beyond this year as long as it's not an implosion to get those numbers. And remember, his first year without Brady with Mac Jones, he went 10-7 in 2021. And if you look over Belichick's years when he didn't have Brady, right? 8 wins last year, 10 wins the year before, okay? So we're already at 18. You remember the year where Brady got injured and Matt Castle had to come in and play? They went 10-6, right? Another 10-win season. So now we're at 28 wins. So those are 3 years in the last decade plus where 28 wins. Well, we know that 3 divided into 28 is what 9.2 basically. So if he can just average those 9 wins a year for the next 3 years, he's going to hang around because he's going to try to catch Shula, and that's when he'll retire. The only question I have for Belichick is he's 70 years old. Once he gets to Shula's number, does he look around and be like, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore? I think that's the bigger question, Steve K. Courthouse. I think that's why he's sticking around. I think he wants that Shula record. He definitely wants that 300 because there's only 2 other guys with 300 wins. You know, Belichick's already passed Tom Landry, and he's 60 wins. Sorry, not 60. What is it? 50. Hold on, where is it? Andy Reid. He is 51 wins ahead of Andy Reid. And Andy Reid, who he's no spring chicken himself. Andy Reid 64. But if Andy Reid wants to get to 300, he's going to have to hang around for another 5-6 years himself till he's almost 70 years old. So Belichick is trying to set himself apart from not just the coaches all time, but from guys who are currently coaching. Mike Tomlin has 163 wins. Pete Carroll has 161. Neither one of them are probably ever getting to 300. So Belichick, part of his legacy is going to be, I didn't just win championships. I didn't just average about 9 wins, 10 wins a year without Tom Brady, basically. He's also going to go out there and be like, look, I've taken 2 different franchises to the postseason. He got to the postseason, remember, with the Browns. Won a playoff game. Remember, he won 11 wins with the Browns that playoff year. I think that's what Belichick's playing for. I think he's playing for, I want to be in the same conversation as Don Shula for the greatest coach of all time in NFL history. And I got to make sure I stay ahead of Andy Reid for as long as possible. But Steve Gaming Courthouse, I appreciate your texting. I appreciate the follow-up. I think it's some very interesting questions from you. I just have to disagree with you about Gesicki's numbers being average. I think your definition of average and my definition of average is different. That's all. Steve Gaming Courthouse. But hey, go Birds. I appreciate you jumping in. You're right. Mac Jones is no Tom Brady. But you know what he is? He's better than Jacoby Brissett. He's better than, my goodness, I mean, he's better than Josh Dobbs. He's better than, I think he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Jimmy G benefited from being on some very great teams. I think you're going to see this year what happens when he's not in the best situation. You know, he went from New England with Belichick to the 49ers with Kyle Shanahan. Now he's in Las Vegas with Josh McDaniels. This is like the last shot for both of them to prove what they can do, because I think both Jimmy G and Josh McDaniels are not going to get another chance at the opportunities they're getting this year ever again if they don't get it done this year. Jimmy G's injury history and questions about his ability to elevate a team are always going to be there. And I think Mac Jones is better than him. I think you could argue Mac Jones is as good, if not better than Jordan Love. He's as good, if not better than his potential is, than Jared Goff. I think he is as good, if not better than anything Kenny Pickett will ever be. I keep going. I think he's better than Daniel Jones. I think he's better than Sam Howell. I think he's better than Desmond Ridder. I think he's about as good as Derek Carr. That's how I look at Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones, yes, he's not Brady, but nobody's Brady. Brady's the greatest of all time. Mac Jones is not. That's Dan for BHT chimes in at 609-403-0973. He says, Josh, what record you got for the Eagles this season? Well, Danny HT, I'm sticking by my 11-6. And the reason why I'm going with 11-6 is because I don't see a scenario where the Eagles stay as healthy as they did last year. I think they're going to suffer an injury somewhere on offense or defense that is going to cripple them a little bit. I don't mean like a quarterback injury, because Hurts has missed a game each of the last couple of years, right? So he's been injured every year, and they still won games. I think it's more about if you lose like Slayer Bradbury for 4 or 5 games, or you lose Lane Johnson or Jordan Mailata for 4 or 5 games. Like, that's kind of injury I'm talking about. So I think injuries like that will happen. They were one of the most healthy teams in the NFL last year, and they were very fortunate. Second thing is, I go through this schedule and I say, where are the 6 losses at? Well, I'll tell you where the 6 losses are at. I think that Jets game, October 15th, could be a loss. I think that the Chiefs game coming out of the break could be a loss. I'm not confident they can go to Dallas and win that game after 2 really difficult games at home against the Bills and the 49ers. They can't go on the road and play Dallas on Sunday Night Football. That's a big ask. Then after going to Dallas, they got to go the next Sunday to Seattle. That could be a loss. They'll probably lose the last game of the year like they do every year because they'll sit everybody to get them healthy for the postseason. So I'm already looking at the last game of the year against the Giants as a loss. at Seattle, at Dallas, at Kansas City. I already got 4 losses. I can find 2 more losses prospectively. I mentioned the Jets, that's 5. And then between at the Rams, at Washington, home against the Dolphins, if Tua is healthy and the Dolphins are good to go, that's a shootout. That game on Sunday Night Football on October 22nd, if Tua and Hurts are out there, that's going to be like a 48-42 or a 40-35 kind of game. Like, that game is going to be bonkers. Like, you're not going to want to leave your seat because it's just going to be 2 quarterbacks just being like, I'm competing against you. It's going to be like back in the day when we used to see Brady and Manning play. Like, I think when Tua is healthy, he is a monster. The problem with Tua is he can't stay healthy. Tua's injury history is basically a huge concern for a lot of people out there, including myself. Like, Tua's injury history is the reason why, I was doing a fantasy football draft last night for 97.3 ESPN, our fantasy football league. It's me. We got Danny Ryan in the league. We got Billy Schwein. We got Ryan Rothstein, Casey Joyner, the football scientist, Andy McNamara, our fantasy football guy here on GameNight on 97.3 ESPN, Dave Klemick from Mainland Regional in Kansas City, Chiefs wide receiver. He's on the weekends with Billy Schwein as well. We're all on this league together. Andrew Leeds, Billy Schwein's producer on the weekends. So we're all in this fantasy league together, right? 2-time defending champion, my former co-host, Deshaun Hendricks. So we're all in this fantasy league. And I look up, and it's like the 10th round, and Tua still hasn't been picked. Now, that's in a league with a bunch of people who presumably know football. We all know football, right? And nobody's touching Tua with a 10-foot pole. 10th round, just sitting there. Him and Derek Carr hanging out, having a good time with Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones gets picked. Not Tua. That's the problem with the Dolphins. I mean, that dude, if Tua could play at least 15 games in a season, he's probably going to be a candidate for league MVP. At least a finalist. But yeah, Eagles 11-6. Like, that's my prediction. Now, I'm also the guy who said last year I thought they win 10, 11 games as well. And they won more than that. So, maybe there is a little bit of good fortune for the Eagles because every time I say they're only going to win about 10, 11 games, they have a great year. So, one year they win the Super Bowl. Last year they go to the Super Bowl. So, I don't know. Maybe if I just keep predicting the Eagles will have less wins, they'll have more every year. I don't know. Maybe that falls in line with the article I wrote at 973ESPN.com. If you haven't checked it out, go to our website, 973ESPN.com, or check out the 973 ESPN mobile app. It's free thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle. You can find out where the Philadelphia Eagles are ranked among most superstitious fan bases. I just sound like a superstitious fan right there. I literally didn't even realize what I was saying until I let it out of my mouth. It tells you maybe Eagle fans are more superstitious than we realize. Go check out the article. I got the numbers and the analytics in there for you guys. It's an interesting conversation about how superstitious Eagle fans are. All right, coming up next, we'll take some more of your text, 609-403-0973. By the way, it's officially official. Travis Kelce out for tonight's game. So everyone is reporting the same thing now. No ambiguity when it comes to the reporting for him. And frankly, it's probably a good thing because let's be realistic. Is it more important for Kelce to be healthy for the year or continue his streak of games played? I think healthy is more important. That's just my opinion. All right, I'll give you some thoughts on the game tonight. Coming up next, Josh Hennig hanging out with you on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN.
The 2023 Eagles season is here, and this is your radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. It's week 1 as the Eagles head to New England this Sunday to take on the Patriots.
And then he's sacked!
Eagles radio network coverage begins at 3 p.m. Merrill and Mike call all the action starting at 4:25. This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia Eagles football. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal. Get a $50 gift card, good for Yori's Waterfront Restaurant in Wildwood, New Jersey for just $25. That's right, grab a $50 gift card for just $25. Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at seizethedeal.com. Hurry, this deal will sell quickly. For more information on this great deal, go to seizethedeal.com. That's seizethedeal.com.
The NFL is here, and it's all about the sweet offers from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can pocket $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL game. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. That's code SNAP only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.co/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Opioid overdose is a serious crisis, but with naloxone, there is hope. Whether it's prescription painkillers or illicit drugs, naloxone can be the difference between life and death. With just a simple nasal spray, this easy-to-use medication can quickly stop an overdose in its tracks. Naloxone is free, anonymous, does not require a prescription, and can be obtained by anyone 14 or older. Visit stopoverdoses.nj.gov to learn how you can get naloxone at a participating pharmacy. A message from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
At Staples, you can count on every project being print perfect, guaranteed.
I need presentations and business reports printed, and they have to be perfect.
I need beautifully bound booklets for my business.
Your presentations and booklets will be in captivating color, beautifully bound, and will be done right every time. That's our Print Big promise. And right now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing on orders of $40 or more. Try Staples and see the difference. Ends 9/30. Exclusions and restrictions apply. See associate or visit staples.com/print for details.
Okay, class, our first lesson is math. 0 plus 0 plus 0 equals...
One heck of a great deal.
The math is simple at Matt Blatt Kia. Put 0 down, pay 0 interest, and make 0 payments for 90 days on every new Kia in stock. Or get up to $8,000 off MSRP on every 2023 EV6 GT in stock. Stuck in a loan or lease? Matt Blatt Kia can get you released so you can drive your new Matt Blatt Kia with 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 90 days. And we finance your future, not your past. Even first-time buyers can drive with peace of mind with our exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
With approved credit, not all will qualify. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Excludes EVs, 36 months at 1,000 with Tier 1 customers. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Hold up, you're using Swiffer Power Mop? What would Mom say?
Oh, she'd be like, a mopping bucket is the only way to deep clean your floors. And I'd be like, Mom, this is the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one that gets you a mop and bucket clean in half the time.
She'd never believe you.
I'd say, look, the solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket. And the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get into grout lines. That's why you're the smart one.
Really?
What? Mom said it.
The new Swiffer Power Mop. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Your palace awaits. Caesars Palace Online Casino is now live. Download today and register using code RADIOLAUNCH. New users get a $10 sign-up bonus, a 100% deposit match up to $1,000, and 2,500 reward credits after wagering $25. Must be 21 and physically present in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or West Virginia. Minimum wagering within 7 days required to unlock bonuses. Full terms and wagering requirements at CaesarsPalaceOnline.com/promos. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In West Virginia, all games regulated by the West Virginia Lottery. Please play responsibly.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Don't miss the Atlantic City In-Water Boat Show. 4 days only. September 7th to the 10th at the Golden Nugget Marina. Free self-parking, live entertainment. Kids under 12 are free. Buy advanced discount tickets at acinwaterboatshow.com.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Don't forget, Game Night brought to you by my friends over at Jenkins and Sons. One call does it all. You don't need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, or the plumbing guy. Just call 609-641-6440. Is your home ready for the fall season? Are you worried about your rooms aren't staying cool or won't keep you warm in the winter? Well, just call Jenkins Plumbing and Heating today about a new system for American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning or a Mitsubishi ducted system. Find out how you can save money on your utility bill when you call Jenkins at 609-641-6440 online at jenkinsandsons.com. All right, it's football season. You know I love to get you guys some thoughts on the games tonight. First of all, again, no Travis Kelce. If you are a Travis Kelce fantasy football owner, get him out of your lineup. Go find like Greg Dolchich from the Broncos or something. Find somebody else to put in your lineup because he out. He is not playing tonight. All the reports are everywhere, from Adam Schefter now to James Palmer of NFL Network. They're all saying the same thing. So, all right. So here's some thoughts. First of all, I know there's no Kelce tonight, and I know there are these people who love to bring up that the Lions are better defense. I gotta be honest with you. I still like the over in this game. I just don't foresee a situation where the Lions defense is that much better than last year, and that Patrick Mahomes without, he's like, he's without Travis Kelce. Like, Mahomes is gonna wilt and be like, what am I gonna do? No, he's gonna go find another guy. So, get over 53. You need this to be like, I don't know, a 31-28 game. Not unreasonable. 38-28, that's not unreasonable at all. If you're sitting there at 28-24 going into the fourth quarter, you're already a point and a half away from going the over. So, to me, I like the over 53 in this game. And with no Kelce tonight, I really like anytime touchdown scorer for Sky Moore. Sky Moore has been doing a lot of working out with Patrick Mahomes this offseason, working on their chemistry, trying to get a better grip of what Mahomes wants from his routes and everything. I think he could be a anytime touchdown scorer tonight, as well as Isaiah Pacheco. Look, Pacheco's number one running back now on this team. He is taking that job by storm. I mean, they wanted to give it to him theoretically last year, but they wanted to give Clyde Edwards-Helaire one more chance, and it just didn't work out. So, and then Darius Toney can score a touchdown tonight as well. So, the numbers are Isaiah Pacheco I see as plus 110, Toney at plus 165, Sky Moore plus 175. And then for the Lions, the number I like for the Lions in this game Jared Goff. I like Goff to go over the passing yards. 257 passing yards for Goff. Remember, no Chris Jones tonight. That Chiefs defense is going to be unable to get the same amount of pressure on quarterback. Jones might be one of the most valuable defensive players on planet Earth. It's him. It's Aaron Donald. It's guys like that. TJ Watt. Like those guys are astronomically valuable. Like I know Nick Bosa is now the highest paid guy, but you take Bosa off the 49ers, they still got, other dudes, and I mean like real studs on that side of the ball. So I think Goff gets some points up tonight. So that's what I'm liking. Somebody texted in at 609-403-0973 says, I've already picked up Kelsey's backup. Great show, Josh. I mean, look, what is Kelsey's backups even odds to score tonight? Let me see here. All right. We're going to see if I can find this before we run out of real estate on this show here. I'm scrolling through. Okay, Noah Gray. He's plus 240. That's a really good pick. If you want to throw, you throw $10 on that, you're walking away with 24 right off the bat. So, that's a real good number right there. Noah Gray right there. Yeah, I'm liking that. All right, we're out of real estate. End of the show. By the way, if you don't follow me on Twitter at Josh Hennig, you would have seen I did the accountability for the college football picks. 9-4 on the year. 9-4 on the year. Not bad. Not bad at all. Have had some slip ups, but you can't win them all, right? Nobody's perfect. Yeah, Noah Gray, Jeff at Summers Point. There you go. Jeff at Summers Point. Jeff at Summers Point. I don't know how many points Noah Gray is to get you in fantasy, but an anytime touchdown score at plus 240, good value, my man. I'm just saying. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night. The NFL starts 7:30 p.m. as coverage here on 97.3 ESPN.
This is South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football with the legendary voice of the Eagles, Merrill Reese and Mike Quick. Philadelphia Eagles football on 97.3 ESPN is brought to you by
Ocean Casino. Get your game on at the Gallery Bar Booking Games at Ocean Casino this football season. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. GMS Law. Make the right call with 4 convenient locations to serve you and at gmslaw.com. Boardwalk Honda. Shop our lineup of new pre-owned and certified pre-owned Hondas online at boardwalkhonda.com. The Fan Zone at Sun Valley Pools, 29 West Sherman Avenue in Vineland. Unique fan gear and gifts for every fan of every team. Cape Regional Hospital, your healthcare partner for a healthier life in Cape May County. Jersey Shore Federal Credit Union. Choose better banking. And South Jersey Gas.
97.3 ESPN FM is your official home in South Jersey for Eagles football. 97.3 ESPN FM.
Why would someone looking for a mortgage at the Jersey Shore take a loan from a company in Detroit or North Carolina or some other far-off place? Online mortgages promise a lot but don't always deliver. First Bank of Sea Isle City knows the Jersey Shore. We are local lenders. We use local appraisers and provide in-house processing. We understand the unique obstacles of financing in Cape May County. Don't take a chance. Local banking is better. Let us guide you. First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.